Good morning, gentlemen. Bob here with your morning BTC update once again. Um, really, it's still not much to say here, honestly. I mean, it's just kind of ranging. We basically are sitting beneath, or excuse me, between this fib level right here at 42,645, approximately 690, 700, whatever, and still struggling to break through this 44,003, 44,400 level. Um, Looking everything over right this moment, um, Bitcoin's holding this trend line right here, which the trend line itself isn't like a major trend line or anything, but we do have some touches over here that confirm the validity of it. And then we've got this action here. Right this moment, what this looks like would be an ascending. I really thought we were going to get a descending triangle and or a falling channel here, and it broke out, which now makes this much more like an ascending triangle. So if we let's see if we can make some adjustments here. Now all of a sudden we've got this more of an ascending triangle look, which is actually a bullish pattern. Um, so maybe Bitcoin operates within this range until it finally breaks through here. What you'll find in this market is that typically by about the time you get through 3/4 of a pattern and there's a breakout. So my best guess is that sometime here, this is showing 10th of February, maybe at the latest, the 11th of February. So we've got a move coming out of Bitcoin. It's just a matter of which direction it's going to go. At this point, again, we've got a bullish pattern. At this stage now, until it breaks out of this pattern one direction or the other, I will assume it will stay within it. So I anticipate we're going to be in a very tight range for the next 24 to 48 hours, and then either popping up to this level or probably getting knocked back down to this level. It just depends on which way the market goes, but that would be what I would suggest to you at the moment. Is what we're dealing with. We've got a potentially bullish little pattern going here. So yeah, I mean that's really pretty well the extent as far as Bitcoin is concerned on the shorter time frames. All right, and then let's turn our attention briefly to the weekly chart. I mean, we've been talking about this for a bit. Kind of look like chances are pretty good we are going to see something back down here. Well, that obviously we've regained the support of this line here, this line here. So obviously we're not currently concerned about coming right back down. We've regained this line. We did a retest, blasted up to this line. I assume that if I zoomed in on a daily, we've probably retested 43.3 a few times now. Matter of fact, I imagine if I flip over to my other chart, 43.3 is pretty darn close to where that Fibonacci tracement level is, at which point it makes sense that the bulls are defending that. Really at this point, I didn't think that it was going to be very likely that Bitcoin would make its way all the way back up here this quickly. But with that little pattern I showed you on the shorter time frames, that little ascending triangle pattern, I anticipate at least we're going to fill this wick back in at some point, whether it's this weekend or whenever that time may come, and we may even just see something wick up all the way to here before probably getting shut out. Potentially here if the week closes like right here. Anything above this blue line, a weekly close above that, then opens up the possibility to push beyond this line, which again, going back to the other chart, it is a fairly significant resistance and support level there, as you can evidence right here. So the question is, do we get above it? Do we keep pumping up to some next levels? That's where in this market, it's better not to try to predict, and you just allow the chart to come to you. But obviously, I've said it before, I'd rather have a little bit of a roadmap so I can gain some insight. But yeah, at this point, obviously we've got 3 straight green weeks. Back here when we came out of the gutters, we put together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight green weeks. If we did something like that, that maybe gets us up to the 21 moving average at about 50,000. And at that point, I mean, we've only tested that from the downside here, at least since breaking it. We've only retested it since right here and right here. So, the likelihood of getting past that line on a first attempt is pretty slim as well. But I would have said the same thing about this area, and this area. So, at this point, really just watching Bitcoin as we start to gain these levels. You break above it, you buy the retest, and so we will continue to go long when it makes sense. We will continue to temporarily short to market when it makes sense. And then really once we get this portion, whenever the downside comes back in and we get the spring off of that, again, I think we're going to run up into this range here, and maybe Bitcoin ends up calling it a day as far as this bull cycle. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For right now, again, just going back to the fact that we've got a pretty small range we're working in, a little ascending triangle. I anticipate we'll probably see just a tiny, tiny pullback here in the next little bit. Maybe retest the bottom of that range. And then, really, but everything is pulling back very minimally right now and then springing back up. So definitely looking for some reasonable action again here today, at least for the moment. Hey, let's make some money. We love it, gentlemen.